Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Kemi Morugbe in case you are new here. I am a mom of 2, now a mom of 3, about to pop actually. So if you don't know, moms like to tell their best stories and I'm not an exception. In this video, I'll be telling you 2 best stories for my first and my second, and also the reason why I am going for a cesarean section this time. Without wasting much of your time, let's get on to the video. Yes, there's a baby inside. He comes again, we will say you are worthy. With most first pregnancies, it is common to go overdue. That's beyond your due date. And mine went way overdue. Baby boy was just so comfortable inside that he didn't even want to come out. Like, I never felt Braxton Hicks. I never felt any form of contraction or anything like that up until 41 plus 3 or 41 plus 4 thereabout, when I was taken in for induction. So I did all the regular things, you know, walking around, moving your body just to get labor started, but it didn't happen for me. And so we went in for induction. I knew nothing about induction. I was supposed to have done my research, but for some reasons, I didn't do so much research. So I went in for induction and I was admitted. And I remember that evening a balloon was inserted. Until recently, I didn't even know that was part of the induction process, okay? So a balloon was inserted in the evening, and overnight I started contracting. By the time I was moved to the labor ward, I was contracting every 6 minutes thereabouts. I can't remember clearly now, but then I was taken into the labor ward the next morning, and I was having regular contractions. The worst part of that particular labor and delivery thing for me was examining the cervix. Gosh, I can remember it being so painful, and because they had to do it like multiple times on me. Guys, I think I need to put on the fan because I'm sweating already. Sorry, that may distort the audio. Back to my story. The absolute worst thing was examining the cervix. Multiple people examined my cervix and it was not fun at all. It was not fun. It was the most horrible experience. Initially, okay, it was just, you know, one of those things, and I was able to cope through it and all that. But later, it became so painful that I started begging that they shouldn't examine my cervix again. So this process of induction took long. Along the line, my water was broken, the contraction kind of increased, and my cervix was not dilated enough. That was the problem. Then I had to be given the drip. So on the drip now, if you know, the drip is to hasten up contraction and all of that. So on the drip, I started contracting really fast, as in shorter duration, but at the same time my cervix was not opening at that same pace, and that was where the problem was. So it became so painful. And like the night before, I was told not to eat anything. So this labor lasted from about 7, I mean when I was taken into the labor ward, about 7 a.m. in the morning, and as at 5 I was screaming and begging that I should be taken for a session. Somehow I was still there till 6 when I couldn't take it anymore. I started screaming. Then they brought in the consent form that I should sign for a CS. At this time, I had been examined like so many times. I remember the last one, I was begging the doctor, please, nobody is examining anything again. I don't want to be examined again. I don't want my cervix examined. I don't want anybody's hand in there. But I still had to bear the pain, and I was examined again and again and again. So as at the time I was given the consent form, and you know, we're trying to go through the usual process. My baby was in distress and the heart rate dropped, and it just It just became an emergency with everybody panicking around me. Oh, where's the catheter? Insert it up. Before I knew it, I was rushed to the theater, and what was supposed to be a natural process, you know, you are being induced and then you give birth vaginally, became an emergency CS. The session was done that evening and I was taken to the recovery room. For anesthesia, they tried to give me the spinal anesthesia, and I think it went in the third time. My legs became numb, but then I had a panic attack. Before I was anesthetized, I was told that, okay, you won't feel pain, you only feel pressure and all of that. So my legs became numb, and I think I kind of had a panic attack. I just started screaming, no, I can feel the pain, you are tearing me, and all of that. I started screaming, and looking back now, I'm not sure I was actually feeling pain. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure it was pain. Probably the pressure I was feeling, and maybe the contraction had not stopped completely. I don't know what happened, but because I was panicking and screaming, they had no option but to give me general anesthesia, so I zoomed off. The way I remember that experience was that I was inside an electronic guard. Do you know an electronic guard? What they used to wrap all these electronics when you just buy them, that white styrofoam. I think that's the name. Yeah, that white stuff. I felt like I was inside. That's subconsciously, not consciously. Subconsciously, I felt like I was inside, and you know, because of the anesthesia, I was not alive basically. I think I was giving ketamine, and I just zoomed off. So eventually I woke up when it was wearing off gradually. It was a gradual process, and I was taken to the maternity ward, and after a couple of hours, when they were sure I was okay, they brought in my baby, and I met my baby for the first time. For that experience, recovery was really slow for me. I had to deal with two types of pain: the pain from labor and the pain from the cut, the cesarean section cut. And I felt as if my womb was moving around. Like when I turned to this side of the bed, my womb, in fact not just my womb, all the organs inside me turned that way. I kept on asking my friend, is this feeling normal? Like this feeling that I'm having, that things are moving around inside me. If I turn forward, it's as if everything moves forward. I felt as if my organs were loose inside, like they didn't have a form, they were just moving around. And eventually I started using something to hold my belly. So it took about 2 weeks for me to start getting myself back, and the pain was horrible, and I didn't know a lot of things actually. For example, I was panicking because of lucia, which is the fluid that comes out after delivery, because it was not red, it was coming more whenever I urinate. I felt as if it was coming from my bladder. And then I had to deal with hemorrhoid. Not really hemorrhoid, but I was threatened by hemorrhoid because of the pessary that was inserted for pain relief, the ibuprofen. I think I probably used it too much because of the pain. That area became really sore, and I had to start doing sit baths in an uncomfortable place. And well, gradually I recovered myself back. Postpartum was another thing. As a first-time mom, there are a lot of things I didn't expect. I felt as if I had lost myself. Like I would look into the mirror. I remember losing my hair after 2 months, and I would look into the mirror, look at my hair, and cry that, God, I have lost everything. I've lost my shape. Who sent me? Who sent me? That was the motto. And then there was the pain from the spinal anesthesia, because the needle was inserted more than once. So I developed back pain. Okay guys, I had to attend to something, so I can't even remember where I was. I think we were talking postpartum. I'm not sure. So I went through all the ignorance that comes with being a first-time mom, and I didn't expect some changes that I saw. I won't call it depression, but then I had fits of crying, like when I felt like I had lost myself. Like, God, what is this? Who sent me? I have become this big person all of a sudden. I mean, increase in body weight, and then I'm losing my hair. What again? I had acne all over my chest. Yes, I do have some. In fact, I have a lot actually right now, but then it was nothing compared to what happened with my first. So it was like a lot going on in my body, but eventually I went through that and I came out strong. So you can too. Let me move on to my second birth story. I don't know what it is with my body. Babies like my body. They don't like coming out when it's time to come out, you know. So with the second as well, I went overboard, and by my own calculation, the time the baby was delivered, it was actually 42 weeks on the dot. But then by my doctor's calculation, I think it was 41 by plus 5 or 41 plus 6 thereabouts. Okay, let me get you onto how that one started. First, I had this book, Supernatural Childbirth. I can't remember the author, but it's a very nice book. If you're a Christian, please, you need to read it. If you are, you know, trying to have a baby, or you're already pregnant and you're looking at delivery and all of that, it's going to give you insights, understanding, and also prayers, scriptures that you can, you know, take. I had been hearing about this book right from my first pregnancy, but this was the second one and I didn't read it. Somehow I kept procrastinating. I didn't read it. So let's keep that by the side. So once again, baby was overdue and I was scheduled to come in for a CS directly, because my doctor just felt, well, I didn't respond so well to induction in my first delivery. So they kind of felt if labor didn't start naturally, then I should just do a CS again. So I went in a night before, because I was bored in the hospital and I didn't have much to do. I felt, okay, this would be a good time to read this book. So that was how I picked the book and I read through it all. I started reading the scripture and I prayed that night that, God, please, I believe in you, because what I just read stirred up my faith that, okay, my body can actually do this. You know, I was built for this and this can happen naturally. I don't have to do a CS. God can, you know, still do this, and it is not too late for him. So it is very necessary that you have that faith. I had that faith that evening and I went to bed. Guys, I kid you not, labor started at night. I started contracting. I came in for an elective CS and that night I started contracting. Prior to that time, I never had any form of scare, labor scare. There was nothing like that. My body was so relaxed. I even did multiple walk, sex. What didn't I try? Nothing. Like labor didn't start at all. I never felt any hint of contraction throughout that pregnancy. Labor started that night and I just knew that this was God answering my prayer. God is a prayer answering God. I was taken to the labor ward and I was like, okay. My doctor came. I got to know that I was contracting like regularly. I can't remember how far apart the contractions were, and my cervix was examined. You know, it was not, of course it was not fully dilated, but it was kind of progressing, and he asked if I wanted to wait it out to see if it happens on its own or if I wanted to continue with the CS. I discussed with my husband and somehow we decided, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's try and, you know, wait it out and see if it progresses really well. And I remember being scared at that point. I don't know, for some reason I was scared, because I know I'm already like at the tail end of the pregnancy, 42 weeks, and I didn't want to wait further. And guys, doubt set in. That's just what I can say. I started questioning a lot of things in my mind. I knew it was because I didn't have the faith to take me through that process. Because I was scared, I kind of lost my faith. My faith couldn't carry me through. The faith I had the night before, it became really shaky that morning. I remember at some point there were two doctors who were exchanging words, not insulting each other, but they were having a conversation, and the senior doctor wasn't happy that a monitor was used for me when I'm not being induced, and was kind of reprimanding the younger doctor. You should take it off and give the other patient and all of that. So I was not really sure what all that was all about. But then I think they were trying to make move to remove the monitor. They decided to check my baby's heart rate and they couldn't find it. And they used the Doppler, checked multiple times, called another doctor to check, then they tried the other one. I think that one is electrical and it picks heartbeats. I'm not sure of what I'm saying, guys. But then they started using that one on different points on my stomach, but they couldn't find the heartbeat of my baby. At that point, everybody entered into panic mode. They were trying to check at the same time they were preparing me for surgery. You know, the senior doctor was okay, insert a catheter, blah, 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 blah. And because of the rush, I became anxious too, like, God, what is happening? What is happening? Eventually, they found a very faint heartbeat. As I was being rushed to the theater, they didn't even try spinal with this one. They didn't try spinal. I just remember someone whispering into my ear, "You'll be fine. You are all right. If you feel like sleeping, just sleep." And that was it. I was given a general anesthesia again, and I slept off. I zoomed off, not sleep. I zoomed off. And if you ask me what I was feeling subconsciously, what I remember of this one was that I was on a highway and I was seeing people passing, and I was like, is this what afterlife feels like? Like, I was questioning myself. I remember I was with somebody, but I don't know who the person was, but it didn't feel like I was alone. If I'm looking backward now, honestly, those memories are faint. But then I was looking at people just passing through the highway, and I was like, wow, so this is what happens when you are gone. You pass through a particular road. I was wondering, where are they going exactly? What is happening? I was a watchman. I was just standing, just watching all of this happen. So because of the way the whole thing happened, the panicking and all that, when I started regaining consciousness, I was anxious. And since I had been in this realm where I was seeing people in the afterlife, I felt like a life has been lost. It's either mine or the baby's. That was how I felt. Like, if not, why will I be seeing people moving around? You get it? So there was this background fear that something went wrong in my head. So as I was trying to regain consciousness back, I was trying to talk, to ask somebody, but then I couldn't open my mouth because I was not fully here just yet. I was just coming back from being gone. A nurse was beside me, attending to, I don't know, checking something. I was trying to call her. I couldn't talk. I wanted to ask how it went. I couldn't talk. So it took a while for me to finally get myself back, gradually. So as that was happening, I still couldn't talk. I think my husband walked into the recovery room, because from the theater you'll be taken to the recovery room before the maternity ward. I think my husband entered and someone was like, congratulations, so and so, called his name. And he said, thank you. So when I heard that, my mind was at ease that, okay, no life was lost. I am alive, obviously, and this baby is alive. So I just give God all the glory. I heard from my husband that it took a while for the baby to cry when he eventually came out, and some other stuff. I think he had cord around his neck, something like that was distressing him. And I felt like it could have been the other way around if God had not intervened the way he did. And the doctors were also awesome. Recovery this time was not as bad as it was with my first pregnancy. One, I didn't labor for long. It was just mild labor in the morning. Then when I was taking in around 8 a.m., between 8 and 10, that's like 2 hours of labor. It wasn't as intensive. There was no drip, you know, they were not checking my cervix as constantly as they were with the first, and that made recovery easy. And I think because I also knew what to expect this time around, so postpartum also I was able to manage it better. And when I started seeing those changes I saw, I knew what they were. I was not ignorant again. For instance, when I lost my hair, I even took a picture. I was going to write a long post about it. I eventually didn't do that anyways, but I was more relaxed. I knew that, okay, I'll lose this hair now, later on I will gain it back, okay? And it was like another experience. Although I experienced some challenges at some point, some health challenges, because I had malaria, a very bad malaria, cerebral malaria, that I lost consciousness at some point. That was about 2 months plus postpartum. And just before then, I went through a period of stress where my baby had meningitis. We admitted for 10 days and he was convulsing like multiple times. I remember a particular day he convulsed for I think like 8 to 10 times in one day. Guys, with this series of tests, that was after he took the vaccine for meningitis. What's that vaccine? Can't remember the name, but one of the vaccines. So I think that was what affected his system. I don't know, but then it was such a horrible time. The hospital was on strike, but they took us in because we have somebody there. And yeah, we're in the hospital for like 10 days thereabout, treating him, and eventually he got better and it stopped. So aside from all of these challenges, the birth process itself, postpartum recovery was great, much better than the first. So now, without me even saying anything, you know the reason why I'm opting for a third CS. Not that I'm opting anyway, I don't even have an option. If you don't know, once you have had 2 cesarean sessions, your subsequent delivery is going to be cesarean section, because they don't want it to get complicated. It just started raining, so additional noise, sorry about that. So they don't want it to get complicated or up to a point where you have a ruptured stitch, because that area is still kind of not tender now, but it's not strong enough. And you're even advised after your 3rd pregnancy not to have other babies, just so you don't have more chances of tearing up and getting some complications because of the parts of your womb, your uterus, that was stitched. So yes, that's the main reason why I'm going for a CS this time. Because it's a planned CS, I'm actually expecting it to be smoother by the grace of God. I'm prepared, okay, so it's not going to catch me unawares, and also I don't have to go through the pain of labor and then the CS. There's going to be nothing like that. And from other people's experience, a planned C-section, you recover better and it's generally easier. So I'm hoping also that I don't have to go through a general anesthesia this time, because that thing zooms me off, and even when I wake up, it's as if I've been gone for 1 week. Do you understand? Becoming present in my current reality is not exactly easy. You get it? It's like, it's strange. Just like you traveled for a week and you came back, they said you have a baby. This time around, I'm hoping I have the opportunity to, you know, witness it myself and being mentally present. And I think that will also help me postpartum bonding with baby and all of that. So I'm hoping for the best. Of course, I will give you guys an update. If I cannot have a delivery vlog, then we will have a birth story time. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video so far. In case you don't know my name yet, my name is Kemi Omarube and I'm here to stay. So subscribe to this channel and keep up with all the upcoming vlogs. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.